This video is brought to you by my latest book, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, a comprehensive guide to doing exactly that, playing melodic rock lead guitar. This is not just some collection of scale patterns and tabs, although you do get plenty of those, but you also get an entire chapter on how to come up with your own licks, as well as video content, tutorials and demonstrations, loads of jam tracks, and all the way through I'm encouraging you to expand your fretboard knowledge and showing you how you can think in a more musical and melodic way. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That little jam there was basically, I always like to try and find an excuse to put one of those things together. And what we're going to be talking about today is my lead tone that I use for sort of, that kind of solo. Just wanted to showcase it a little bit basically, and well, you know what it is, Blue Guitar Amp 1. I'm going to be mentioning it all throughout this video. But what prompted me to put that together, or to find the excuse to have a little bit of a blow like that, was this email that I got from a chap called Sam.
Hi John, have you changed your setup recently? Your lead tone sounds a lot fatter than it does in your older videos. Less fuzzy somehow. You still name-check your Blue Guitar Amp in the videos, but you don't mention what speaker or IR you're using. Is that where the changes happened? Definitely a change for the better, whatever you've done. Many thanks, Sam.
Well, in response to your query, Sam, no, I'm not using a different impulse response or anything. It's just straight out of the recording output of the Blue Guitar Amp 1 into the interface and then into Reaper where it gets recorded. What I have done though is I have changed the sound, and well, here's some information on exactly what it is I've done. Okay, so up until fairly recently, my go-to crunchy, power chordy, classic rock riff sort of sound was this. You've seen it in pretty much every video that I've done where I'm demoing a guitar or anything. Blue Guitar Amp 1 Mercury Edition on the Vintage channel, with those settings on the dials that you can see there. And that, well, here's how it sounds if I just play a little kind of 8-bar riff, something like this. And, I've got a little bit of delay and reverb on there, but you get the idea of the core tone. I don't know, it just sounds a little bit overcooked. So what I do is I basically get that tone dialed in and then turn the guitar's volume down a smidgen, to use a technical term. Maybe to about there. And now this is the sort of tone that I go for that kind of riff with. Here it is again. And that is now my sort of go-to sound for that kind of thing. And what you notice is that it's much more clear now that you're hearing a Telecaster style guitar doing that. It allows the personality of each guitar to shine through. In terms of the lead guitar sound, like the high gain lead, it used to be, let me just switch over to it on the amp. It used to be this, the Blue Guitar amp one again, but on the classic channel, which is like a sort of a JCM 800 kind of thing, with, you can see the middle foot switch there is engaged. That's the foot switchable boost, which just gives everything a little bit of a kick. And that would be my go-to lead tone. And this, I'll just turn that down. And you know that kind of thing where you get like that kind of pingy chirpiness from the pick? That always used to drive me crazy, and I don't get that anywhere near as much now, because what I'm using for my kind of higher gain lead tone is the sort of sound that I used to be using for the crunchy stuff, basically this thing here. But this time I've got the guitar's volume cranked all the way up, and I get plenty enough gain for what I need to do with that. And well, here's how it sounds. As you can hear, that has all the guts and balls that you need for playing, you know, the kind of lead guitar stuff I want to play, at least. And once again, the inherent nature of the guitar, you can tell that you're hearing a guitar with this type of bridge, you know, a Telecaster style guitar. And it just, it's easier to mix as well. It's easier to put those kind of sounds into a mix without them sort of sounding fizzy and fuzzy. So yeah, I've discovered the joys of backing off the gain a little. So yes, dial back the gain. You know, or dial back the gain even more, because even those higher gain sounds were, you know, sort of curtailed from a higher levels of gain that I used to use in days of yore. And I'm just finding I need less and less gain to get the sounds that I want. That crunchy rock, power chordy, riffy sort of sound that I've ended up with, you know, you double track that, pan it hard left and right, put a bass and drums underneath it. It sounds, well, to my ears, your mileage may vary, but to my ears, it sounds absolutely immense. You know, and less kind of compressed and fizzy than when I used to kind of crank it higher. Same with the lead guitar tone. Both of those tones now I find I spend much less time, you know, faffing about in the mix down when I'm putting a track together. So it's the old adage, turn down the gain, and, you know, go and listen to some early Van Halen or early AC/DC kind of big ballsy sounding guitar sounds on those records, and listen carefully, and it's not as gainy as you think it is. You know, it's just that impression of kind of oomph and power that that makes you think, oh, that's got a lot more gain on it than it actually has. And don't be scared, like me, of using the guitar's volume control. I suppose it's hard to tell on a Telecaster because there's no numbers on the dial on the control, but you know, I don't really need them. I just sort of do it by ear. But, you know, I suppose I was going from like full on 10 for the lead sound down to about maybe, I don't know, 6 for the crunchy riffy sound, and then if I go down to maybe 1 or 2, there's my clean tone, and it's all right there on the guitars. I said this in a recent video, you know, on a Les Paul, you can even kind of use the pickup selector as your clean dirty switch, which is always a nice thing to do. So yeah, it doesn't always have to go up to 11, is the moral of the story. Don't forget that, as always, there is a full tab for the solo that we kicked off with in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and that jam track that I was using as well. That's all, as usual, up on my Patreon page. There's the address. Link is in the description, as I'm sure you know. It's $3 or about £3 a month, and you get access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. And a massive, massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that, or any of the other ways, all of which are down there in the description. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Turn down the gain. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream tomorrow and every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we just have a beer and a chat because it's Friday. What a great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it, but for now I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.